Hi, and welcome to Tarbuck's Nightmare Holes of Golf. It's common knowledge I'm a keen golfer, and I've played for many, many years now. And with a bit of good luck and fortitude and the wind in the right direction, I got down to 4 handicap. But I've had those moments, those nightmares, where putters exploded in my hand, or I've sculled it into a bunker and then sculled it again, or knocked one out of bounds and vowed never to play this stupid game again, and I've given the game up for 5 minutes. Then all of a sudden, miraculously, you hit a good shot and you go, oh, it's the easiest game in the world, and that keeps bringing you back.
Well, let's face it, we all have nightmare holes, and amateurs, we do it for fun, don't we? But what about the pros? We're going to show you the greatest players in the world playing on some of the world's greatest golf courses and having true nightmares themselves, and proving that this game that we all love is a great leveler.
Well, what better place to start? St Andrews, the home of golf, and the Holy of Holies. I'm on the balcony of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St Andrews, and it's all peace and serenity up here, while out on the course there's turmoil bubbling all over the place. This course has seen it all, and behind me is the treacherous 18th green with its Valley of Sin, and perhaps the greatest nightmare in the history of the Open Championship, when Doug Sanders missed a 2.5 to 3 foot putt.
The golfer's dream or the golfer's nightmare, just as you like. 3'6", a bit downhill. This to the 8th. He sees a non-existent obstacle, stops to pick it up. Turned out to be a blade of grass. And he's still got just this one. Somehow I knew it would happen before it did happen. There's disaster for Tarbuck.
We are all toys of the golfing gods who frown on some and smile upon others, though some of us wonder when. And none more so than Costantino Rocca needing a chip to win the 95 Open. At times like this, you want the ground to open and swallow you up. But like I said, just when you're about to give up, sometimes a miracle does happen. Oh, Sanders and Rocca, 25 years apart, here on the 18th at St Andrews, illustrate perfectly the extreme of joy and despair this great game can inflict. In Rocca's case, both at the same time. The road hole at St Andrews. It spoilt many a good night's sleep. There are more ways of getting into trouble here than you can think of, but none strikes greater fear than the large bunker in front of the green. Well, here it is, the road hole bunker at St Andrews. It's deep and it's tight, and it's the most famous bunker in golf. Well, as you can see, the ground here all gathers the ball into the bunker. Good shots have hit the green, but ended up in here, and some poor souls have putted into this bunker. Now, there are folk who tell me it's easier than it was in the old days, but all as I know, I wouldn't want to be there, up against the face of it. Oh no, I'm not going to attempt this. It would take a great player to get this out, and we're going to one. Doug Sanders. If he'd have won the Open in 1970 instead of 3-putting the 18th green, all we would have talked about was Sanders' bunker shot here at the road hole. It truly was magnificent. It was more compacted, the sand, and he took a pitching wedge because he didn't want any bounce off the sole of the club. He stood here and, well, he played it. And let's watch him doing that.
Sanders in this devilish road bunker. I get in the road from here and take 8. But there's one of the finest shots in the circumstances that you ever saw.
But others have had a different experience of the road hole bunker. This is a young Tommy Nakajima in the 1978 Open. He took 4 to get out and made a nightmare 9. This is Mark Mouland of Wales. Rumour has it that all that gold round his neck was a device to make him keep his head down through the shot.
And that's 2. And that's 3. That's 4. Dear, dear, that's 5. And that's 6, and it very nearly came out. And finally it's out.
For Signor Rocca, his agony and ecstasy experiences of St Andrews continued. After his fluff chip and amazing putt on 18, he found the road hole bunker in the playoff, and effectively he lost all hope. Well, here it is, one of the great views in golf, the 17th at St Andrews. What a picture. Ben Crenshaw described this as the toughest par 4 in golf. He said, you know why? Because it's a par 5. It isn't, of course, but it plays like one. Now, the big boys, when playing in the Open, they often take maybe an extra club and give the ball a real good whack to get on this side of the green. Good idea and good thinking, but it doesn't always work, because this happens. They run through onto the dreaded road. And all the experts reckon it might have cost Tom Watson yet another Open by being on the road. In 1984, Tom Watson was looking for a third successive Open victory to equal Varden's record of 6 championships, and gave his second shot to 17th a bit extra with this inevitable result. Meanwhile, ahead, Seve was taking the applause of the packed galleries. He didn't know it, but his one-shot lead was to look even more secure. Tom was tight up against the wall. He had no control of the shot and would take a bogey 5, dropping even further behind. Seve was unaware that the pressure was off, but with typical bravado, he finished with a flourish. Indeed, one of the great finishes in golf, Seve won his second Open by a 2-shot margin. Seve's dream was Watson's nightmare. But Tom was not the first, nor was he the last, to be trapped by the road.
Oh, didn't get it up. Curtains for Roger.
The game's never dull when Rocca's around. He found the road in the final round and played this shot with his putter, turning this particular nightmare into a par 4. Watch the bounce this shot gets. A superb birdie for Paul. And how's this for a smart piece of improvisation? Japan's Kazuhiro Takami, and not quite with his back to the wall. Ah, so. Oshi. Even the great white shark himself overcooked his second to the 17th. There's no prizes for guessing where this one finished up, but good golfers are a hardy and inventive lot. Just watch this. Ah, good day, my old Bluey. He loved it. Playing short and putting up can also prove tricky at the 17th, as it did for Sweden's Mats Lanner. He thought he'd played it safe. Not quite. And we all know what happens now, don't we?
It's coming back to him. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
It certainly is. Does anybody know the Swedish for oh bother?
Finally makes the green.
But now Fred Couples, with a wonderful touch, picked his way through the minefield to show how it should be done.
It's just a wonderful golf shot. Look at this.
Yeah.
You're telling me that's one of the greatest putts I've ever seen.
Well, the trouble starts some 460 yards away back here on the tee. Just look what you've got to play over. There's some old sheds, a hotel there on your right. Imagine them presenting this to you in a Sunday medal at your club. We've nothing like this at Coombe Hill, I promise you. Now, the great players, the pros, they go for the old in the Old Course Hotel, or perhaps the Lion. Mere mortals like you and I, well, we stand here and just give it a whack. And it is a nightmare hole for amateurs, but it's a nightmare hole for pros as well. You just ask Bill Glasson, who was leading the Open at the time when he came onto this tee.
And he's hit that right over the top of the hotel, and dearie me. Well, I said he needed a fade, and that was the shot, but just overdid it.
Hang on, if you think that's bad, you don't want to hit your next shot too far left either, because St Andrews rough is tough.
It was his 3 off the tee to there, and powerful and strong and athletic as he is, he managed to knock it 8 or 9 feet. And so 3 off the tee, 4 to there, his 5th shot, and he's still got the road bunker, but he's not even thinking of reaching that because he's got to get out of here first. And it turns over. You could see the club face wrapping over, the ball being pulled down to the left.
Bill Glasson took an 8, and that was enough to end his brief stay at the top of the Open leaderboard.
For a golf nut like me, it's too tempting to be at St Andrews and not try a golf shot, albeit on the toughest hole. Bob, we'll try the driver, please. Thank you, Maestro. Someone said any fool can do it, so I'll have a go. Yeah. It was a wee dram in the porridge this morning that did that. There's lots of trouble at St Andrews, and some of it you can't see. Now, we're here on the 14th tee. We have out of bounds on the right over that wall. The wind usually comes across this way. There's a nightmare for all the slicers out there. Then we've got the gorse, and the bonny blooming heather, and the broom, as they say. You can get in that. Not usually the professionals. Now, they stand here, and they aim down the left. There's no trouble there, is there? Is there? Isn't there ever? There's the beardies, just lurking. Look at this hole from a different angle. Well, Nick Faldo couldn't see them, but he found them, and he knew it. He's a big fan of Victor Meldrews. I don't believe it! I do. Don't believe it!
What did he say? What did he say? Oh, beardies, that's the first one we've seen caught today.
Face full of sand, and he gets it out safely into the middle of the fairway, but he's still got 270 yards to go to the green, so it's a long, long way.
A visit to the Beardies makes a birdie almost impossible, but there's more trouble to come. Awaiting your next shot is the monstrous Hell Bunker. And if you get into that devil, you still have a hell of a distance to the pin. 125 yards in all.
Well, here it is, Hell Bunker. It's tough, and it's big. Big. I'd like a house built on this much land. Over on my right here, well, it's deep. Imagine playing out of that. I mean, it's really horrible. If you think that's tough, just come up here in the corner. Up there is absolute hell.
Well, basically, poor old Jack really needs a bucket and spade here. Got a little edgy on there, and I think that he's starting to get a bit frustrated with his own game.
This time it is a case of get it out at all costs. Hit 4 or 5 inches behind it, and it's back in again. Now, he really is. It's rather sad, this. And it's still in there. And really, it's a very open blade. He must sort of settle lightly, and he still whacks it out, and he's had enough of this hole. Hell Bunker.
Did you see how Jack vaulted out? That was the hardest part of all. Get me a rope and a ladder.
Well, here it is, the Swilcan Burn. It's sheer-sided and it's narrow. And once you're in there, you're in there. There's no getting out. Christie, there's no getting out. The boy just won't listen. But across St Andrews Bay, you come to another great open venue, Carnoustie, and they have their own burn. It's the Barry Burn that has no respect for great golfers' reputations. Ben Crenshaw came here as twice Masters champion.
What a low trajectory. Oh, dear, dear, dear. The Barry Burn gobbles up another golf ball.
And David Fairty certainly couldn't find the luck of the Irish.
Fairty having a crack at the Barry Burn at the 18th. Now, has it got the height? Over the bridge. Oh, nearly.
Colin Montgomery was local favourite, but that carries no weight on this hole.
Much more solid contact.
Okay.
No justice.
He just cut that a little bit.
Wayne Riley, on the other hand, led a charmed life. Not surprisingly, he won the competition.
That's the way to do it. Friday was Riley's day, you must say after that.
Assuming you can clear the Barry Burn with your second, don't start counting your chickens, because the bunkers round the green are not for decoration.
That may wander its way over towards the right-hand bunker, not too much loft. Hang on, and it just topples into the sand.
The 18th at Carnoustie has little respect for greatness, it's true, but Seve can find trouble on most courses. But what sets the great players apart is they know when to take their medicine and play a sensible recovery. At 19 years old, Tiger Woods, surely one of the up-and-coming greats, is at the other end of the learning curve and discovering all the pitfalls.
Oh, hang on. Oh, it's wet.
A penalty drop and a shot gone.
Sound was good, it's up in the air, it's high. Very handsome, but a bit right. Oh, and ooh, I tell you what, that's a horrible place.
Well, here it is, the most famous bridge in golf, the bridge over the Swilcan Burn here at St Andrews. And all the greats who've played this course have walked across this bridge. Just think, Bobby Jones, Henry Cotton, Sam Snead, Severiano Ballesteros, whoever your particular favourite is. Some unlucky losers, one unlucky winner. Dick Burton, Richard Burton, he won in 1939, and his opponent for the next few years was Adolf Hitler. But then, of course, my own particular favourite, Arnold Palmer, he said goodbye to major golf here on this bridge, and what a lovely moment it was. Well, this bridge shouldn't come into play here at St Andrews, but there is tales of one member of the R&A who drove one into the burn, drove a second into the burn, walked up to the bridge, took his clubs off his caddy, threw them in, and then threw the caddy in and walked off slightly disgruntled. But certain bridges on certain courses have a major role to play. Le Golf National, 35 kilometres outside Paris and home to the French Open, is a purely man-made course reclaimed and sculptured from a refuse tip. Water is everywhere, especially on the par 5 18th, with a lake alongside the fairway and front of the green, and more water behind it, and more water. But where there is water, there are bridges, and that's where the fun really starts.
Well, that trundles off the back edge, and you can see the fate on the bridge at the 18th.
Oh boy, rather you than me, Mike. Just don't fall in. What a shot. Like a true wily old pro. Magnificent. In the final round, David Guilford was chasing home Mark Rowe when he arrived at the 18th.
He's drawn that a little bit by the look of the way he's, and that's the problem. Miller's Bridge and phase 2. And remember, he's got to play it.
Don't look like that. You played it. It's like playing crazy golf at Blackpool.
Well, there you are. You see he's brought it in off the bank, but it's on its way into the water.
Well, I'll go to the foot of our stairs. It's a tough life on tour, as Peter O'Malley discovered the following year.
4 for a round of 70.
I see you up, yeah.
Be up, he's saying be up. Oh, it's up all right now, there's water there. Just hang on, whoa, 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 whoa. Now that's interesting. He'll be able to play that one from there, and he'll be able to grind his club. But what sort of future he has, I don't know.
Oh dear. In the words of Punch and Judy, that's not the way to do it. Peter, that's a bridge too far. But for every ball on a bridge, there's more than one in the water. Ask Paul Broadhurst. There's not a lot of water to worry about here at St Andrews, but over at Augusta National, the home of the Masters, wow, that's a whole different story. They've got enough water there to have you awake at night screaming. In '92, Fred Couples won the tournament, but he near came to grief at the 12th.
Take a look at Fred Couples' ball. There it is. You see it about a foot above Rays Creek. And the leader by 2, Fred Couples. Any good? How about the reaction? Found another ball. Didn't like the brand.
Fred Couples wasn't the first champion to have his final round victory march interrupted by the 12th. In 1988, it was nearly disastrous for Sandy Lyle.
Water. There you can see it. Easy shot, Greg, if he can sort through his nerves.
No, that's very true, Steve.
And like Tom Weiskopf surmised, that's about all he could do. So Lyle will actually have to get it up and down for double bogey.
Sandy went on to win like a true champion. But if Lyle had a near disaster, then in 1993, the 12th proved catastrophic for Dan Forsman. Vying with Langer for the lead, he made a bad slip-up at the 12th.
Water. Not the first we've seen. Stay up.
So ended Forsman's challenge in Rays Creek. He made the green in 5, but 3-putted for a 5 over par 8. The 15th at Augusta is 500 yards over a water hazard in front of the green. The pros tried to get there in 2 with varying degrees of success. It's a real card wrecker.
There's Larry Mize from 245 yards out. Will it stay up? Oh, that's touch and go. No, it's go. And he is down in the water. And that will go back into the water. There you go. Bingo. Wind coming from the left. Didn't have a very nice sound about that. Uh-oh. Well, he didn't catch it right, I'm sure. There she goes. Another victim of the 15th hole.
Unlucky, you might say, but laying up is no guarantee of reaching dry land either.
Uh-oh. With all the action on that, that's certainty for the water.
In 1986, Jack Nicklaus stormed through the field on the final day of the Masters. Seve Ballesteros held the lead, and once he had negotiated 15, would have been virtually untouchable. Instead, Seve found water, and he went on to take a bogey 6. With this terrific putt, Jack was on his way to a record 6 Masters at the age of 46. With Seve's experience of Augusta, it is not surprising that when Signor Patino, the owner of Valderrama, invited him to remodel the 17th, Seve's idea was to create a water hazard in front of the green, just like the dreaded 15th at Augusta. The whole creation is truly beautiful. But guess what happened at the 1994 Volvo Masters? This shot fell short onto the rough bank in front of the green. It was in the hazard, but was not wet. Well, not as wet as Seve, who decided it was safe policy to put on his waterproofs. He then undertook some gardening and remodeled the 17th a little bit more. Only to find, friends, he'd played the wrong ball. There's a little bit of searching here, and we found the right ball. Some say Seve learnt his golf from his uncle, Raymond Sota. Others say, more probably, Houdini. And wouldn't you know, Seve is redesigning this hole for the 97 Ryder Cup, which will please Sam Torrance. The dreaded cry of agua, and Sam Torrance had 2 bites of the cherry. But with no success at all. So it was left to Seve's compatriot, Miguel Angel Jimenez, to show everyone how to play the 17th. Oh, the rarest of all birds on a golf course, an albatross on day 2. A splendid iron through the green and 2 more shots, birdie on day 3. And finally, day 4, he completed his bag of the birds at 17th with an eagle. He had played the 17th in 3 rounds at 6 under par. Muy bien, señor. The Belfry has been known to make grown men cry in its short history. The 18th could wake you up in a cold sweat. In 1976, during construction, designer Dave Thomas's cunning plan was very evident. You needed 2 big hits to carry the lake twice up to the green by the trees on the right. US Masters champion Ray Floyd played the first ever shot at 18 prior to the course's public opening, but fell straight into the trap.
A huge carry, this, of course, into the wind.
Time to reload and have another go.
Yes, that's about it. Well done. Super.
Just over at the second attempt.
And now for that huge second shot played here for the first time.
That's as good as I can hit it. What was that? 3?
In 1989, Ray Floyd was US Ryder Cup captain, but he obviously hadn't warned Paul Azinger about the 18th.
Oohs from the crowd. No applause. It's in there, and what an error.
Then it was Payne Stewart's turn.
Well, he's taken the wide line. He's got to carry 250 yards minimum. I think he's in the water or in the reeds.
Where is it? It's still in there, I suspect, yes. It looked a bit deep to me. There's immaculate stockings.
Well, we'll give one more go, huh? We're going to try this again.
And that's 3. Shot 4 for Payne Stewart. He's got it out. Say at best he can do is a 6.
Calcavecchia, he fared no better.
Back on the tee, Calcavecchia, having waited all of this time. And there is another American disaster. My goodness.
Then he tried to do something really silly. But desperate people do desperate things.
Can't possibly be playing short with the wooden club. He's going to give it a right go, and there it is. He's launched it. Let's look for another splash. There it is. There's the ripples. It's not the Belfry Monster, that's the ball.
In 1993, however, the boot was firmly on the other foot as the Europeans made hard work of the 18th. Alathabal found water direct from the tee and couldn't believe it. Barry Lane, on the other hand, he cleared the water with his tee shot, but found the bunker. Great hit, but then he went straight in the water with his second. Meanwhile, Joachim Heckman was really fired up. He took the tiger line and made it, but only just. He managed to reach the second water hazard with his drive, but still had a shot to the green.
Where's that, Dave?
His tee shot over 300 yards, and that left him a tricky but short pitch. This is surely the shortest route ever taken to the green, and fortune favoured the brave, and Heckman, on in 2, won his match.
Cheers. Well, after all those shocks to the system, it's time for a refresher. And where better than the Jigger Inn here at St Andrews, with all the reminders of the golfers past. They hang their relics on the wall. It drives the dogs mad. But you know, this used to be the station master's house, but it wasn't on tap then. I've been thinking, you don't need deep bunkers, water, to make it a horrendous golf hole that might give you a nightmare. Just imagine, out of bounds on the left, a sloping fairway from left to right, yes, with trees, and a blind second shot. Oh, and by the way, it's a par 5. Have you guessed it? It's the 17th at Wentworth, described by Arnold Palmer as one of the great par 5s in golf.
There's only one way to play this hole, but going too far left isn't it. That's out of bounds. Too far left and it's dead. But you don't want to be even slightly left either, because you have little chance of getting round the dogleg. You've got to be down the middle on the 17th. Nothing else will do. It's tricky from here. The stance is awkward, but some players try a deliberate hook shot. Is that trees? Sounds familiar, Tarbuck. Next time, a layup might be the best option. In '91, Seve had played himself into a similar position. He rattled the tree trunks, but he didn't need the provisional ball. He was close to the trees, but in play. Yep, the golfing Houdini worked his magic. A delightful draw around the trees put him in position A for his third to the green. Still a long way to go, but for the pros, a birdie chance. Nicholas Faldo, well, he played the hole like a pinball wizard. A drive right into the light rough. Steady, ladies. From there, a hack left doesn't help, and especially when you have to take a penalty drop. Don't like the look of this very much. Tell him, Fanny. No cameras, please. But then a squirt right. Nick is disgusted, but knowing him, he probably chipped in for his par. But when the golfing gods smile upon you, all is sweetness and light, even if you get it wrong initially. Now watch this recovery with a driver. Great shot. Yeah, quite amazing, these pros, and wouldn't we all be proud of that? And even with a tough pin position, it's still going to give him a chance of a birdie. Ian Woosnam hit the perfect tee shot, but that's no guarantee of success. Be it with your second shot or your fourth from the same spot. The crowd should get danger money or crash helmets. Reload, and off it goes again, back into the gardens. Well, we're staying in the Jigger Inn because the next hole is quite a nightmare for me. I was trying to qualify for the British Seniors Open and I was going quite well until I came to the par 3 12th at Royal Lytham St Anne's, a bounder of a hole. As I said, par 3, avenue of trees, and you can't see the wind, as I've been told by caddies. A lot of wind you can't see, sir. Hit it all right, then the wind played havoc with the ball. I ended up with a 6, and I missed qualifying by 1 shot. Margaret, pour me a dram. Memories. Oh. Well, this is the hole, and there are the trees. And this is Liam Higgins. He headed for what seemed like uncharted territory at the 12th. Not quite uncharted, but he nearly left the golf course altogether. He got himself a free drop away from the greenkeeper's machinery, but 3 scrambling chips left him with a 15-foot putt for a double bogey, following the tracks of a certain Johnny Miller in the Open some 20 years earlier.
And he's way off to the right. Very luckily hit the chain link fencing. He'll try and scuffle it up the bank onto the green. He's got a very difficult backswing. So easy to hit the bank and roll back almost to where he starts from. Shoots it forward, but no, it doesn't make it. Rolls back down the hill. And still he doesn't make it off that shaly path by the gate. But it's 3 for Miller, and he's stuck in that long grass on the bank. And he's still 6 or 7 yards from the hole. Disaster striking very rapidly at Miller. And that's not in either, but stone dead, so that's a 6 at this par 3 12th hole.
With the addition of wind and rain, the hole can become virtually unplayable. In the 93 seniors, Bob Charles, the man who 30 years earlier had tamed the course to become Open champion, must have thought the gods were against him. Caught in the left-hand bunker, he had to try to come out sideways with no luck. Within minutes, the weather abated, but Charles, desperate to escape the bunker, he flew the green. Oh dear, now he was in real trouble. He made the green in 5, and like Miller, took a 6. But even the greatest of greats can find trouble at this little hole. Arnold took the more conventional route via one of the bunkers to the front of the green. To some, this would be curtains. To Arnie, it's just another day at the office. He scrapes out like a true champ and lives to fight another day. He leaves the green with a little dignity after a mere bogey 4. And my God, I'd like to buy it off him. Palmer, Charles, Miller and Tarbuck all in trouble at the 12th. The Royal golf courses are no more forgiving than any other. In fact, Royal St George's at Sandwich is a beast of a course with some ferocious holes. The par 5 14th readily shows its teeth. It has a water hazard crossing the fairway, waist-high rough, and out of bounds down the right-hand side. In 1993, Bernard Langer was chasing his partner, Greg Norman, but it was the 14th that bit and not the great white shark. In 4 days of championship play, it was the first time he'd used his driver, and unfortunately the red flag told him he was out of bounds. To survive the 14th, you must strike the ball well.
Nick Price, second shot. He completely missed it. Unless that was a bad line, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw one of the best players in the world just completely dub a shot.
The following year, this floundering individual would be Open champion. Well out. It's a funny old game, Nick, isn't it?
Oh, and it looked like he let that go way to the right.
Oh, my goodness.
And that is very close to the boundary there.
That really was a bad shot.
Well, he didn't have anything, and he's advanced it somewhat, but not too much better. They'll walk along and try to find it now. There. He seemed to point so gleefully there. Now hit it. Oh boy, you hate to see this. Just a moment ago, he's thinking about possibly making a birdie here at 14, and now he's struggling to make a 6. Back to the Dez show. Enough divot there to make a salad for 3.
Salad for 3 and a double bogey 7. A little further afield is another Royal golf course. This is Royal Mougins near Cannes on the French Riviera. Like the other Royals, this course has some fearsome holes, and anyone who thinks the 18th is a pushover is definitely a few clubs short of a set. The fairway is narrow and undulating, and at one stage is on 2 levels. There is water all the way down the left, and there is more sand here than on the seafront, and unfortunately, no topless ladies. And if you survive all that, you have to negotiate this truly horrible green. Now, the first clue to success is to hit the fairway. Andrew Coulthart was going well when he arrived at the 18th, but he found the sand.
Picked it off beautifully, kept his balance too. That's never easy to do in fairway bunkers. You tend to want to go at it from the top of the swing, then you lose your footing. But that was a beautifully executed shot from the joint tournament leader, Andrew Coulthart.
Back on course, Andrew then needed to find the pin. But with truly cruel breaks like this, you really do feel like packing it in. I mean, you give your best, but for what? Woozy managed to take an 8 here, a true nightmare. He found water with his second, put his 4th into a greenside bunker, and if that wasn't enough, fate dealt a body blow with his 5th shot.
Face line wide open. Just watch how quick this is. Stop being, stop. Oh, no, stop. Oh, it could be down near the water. Just an impossible shot.
Well, I don't know about impossible. For me, that green is just plain daft. Richard Boxall had laid up short and must have felt confident of getting near with this.
Now this could run off and down the big slope and left and be as far away as he was before. Off it goes.
As I said, daft. I think if you offered Richard 2 sticks of dynamite to blow the whole lot up, he'd probably take them. And what's more, Colin Montgomery would probably lend him a hand.
I think he's played it down the right-hand side, maybe wide of the bunkers, to along where Mark Rowe was. And look at that, he's managed to fly the front bunker, but an extremely difficult putt there, mind you. It is for an eagle.
Although the flag was in a different position this day, what was to happen next defies belief.
Sit down. Stop.
Almost in the water, and he's missed the green. Oh, I can't believe it, and I don't think he believes it either.
Colin probably still has nightmares over this one. I would, if I were him. Putting, the game within a game. And here on the 18th green at St Andrews. Scene of triumphs, and of course, scene of 1 or 2 disasters. But I'll give you an equation. If your own course is 6,500 yards long and a par of 72, well, half your shots should come on the putting green, albeit not as big as this one, but that's what you should do. Well, it sounds simple, but it isn't. Have a look at this one. This is just my length. These are never missed. No, Sunday morning medal, never miss one of these, would you? Ask Cale Irwin. Surely the shortest missed putt in the history of the game, a complete and utter air shot. And poor Hale Irwin, he missed the chance of a playoff for the Open Championship by 1 shot. Mind you, if it's tricky greens you're looking for, look no further than Georgia in the spring, the Masters. My man, a mint julep, please. The 16th at Augusta. Whoops. It has tormented even the best putters for years. But where some struggle, others find the most amazing touch.
Tom Kite, tremendously difficult putt. Down the slope. Barely put it in motion. Now a little gather pace. What a glorious touch that is. That is absolutely uncanny.
Well, some are positively blasé, working at right angles to the hole.
Look at the break in this putt. Absolutely extraordinary putt by Raymond Floyd. Yes, Ray, you deserve a hand.
He certainly does. Bernard Langer had to go even further and turn his back on the hole. Anything to stand a chance of getting close. And he nearly holds it. But let's face it, it's less bother not putting at all.
Almost impossible to get the ball even close down this slippery slope. A huge break to the left. It starts now. Whoa! What a birdie for Brad Faxon.
Get in. Better still, why not keep your ball off the green altogether? That one went in without touching the side of the hole. You've got it, a hole-in-one. Every golfer's dream.
Well, we started at the 18th at St Andrews, so it's only right to finish at the first. It's a most wonderful opening hole, and what can go wrong with any decent tee shot? It's miles wide and acres long. You couldn't possibly go out of bounds at the first, could you? Could you?
No, I don't know whether he got that ball away before the bonnet blew off. And it could be out of bounds, would you believe it? I don't believe it.
It is the most humbling game of all.
Well, there you have it. Even an Open champion is not exempt from a nightmare hole. But whatever it is, something keeps bringing us back time and time again to play this great and glorious game that we all love. And should you have a nightmare hole, don't let it worry you. Just have sweet dreams. Hope you've enjoyed the show and good golfing.